In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, you gumpers.
Hey, you gumpers. Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here. Yeah, looking a bit sweaty. It's been a little bit stressful behind the scenes. It went black again. Not in that sort of, oh, it's all going black kind of way, although I understand and respect that some people are feeling like that at the moment. And I was thinking about that as well. I've already distracted myself here because I wanted to say this morning, cost of living crisis. I actually think it's a cost of vision crisis as well, but that's possibly a little bit too much of a distraction right now as we make our way into the Expats Portugal show this morning on a Wednesday. Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday with Michael Heron Maximus will be joining us today. I've got 3 questions for him already. Drinking or not drinking? Looking forward to the World Cup or not? It's going to be a weird one, isn't it? Weird. And did he find that English breakfast? So if you've got any questions yourself, those will be questions 4 and onwards after those 3 that I'll be asking him when he joins us this morning. Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday here on the Expats Portugal show with me, Carl Munson. Yes, I said it was a little bit stressful. Thank you, by the way, to T-Duck, to Deagle, to James already in, Coach Turner, fantastic, loving it. Already, Stephen Wells, Lee McGrady. Gentlemen, I salute you. Thank you for being here so early, and thanks to everyone else who's joining now. I think it pops up, doesn't it, as a note? How does it work for you? I know how it works for me. I'm here at 8:30-ish, as you know, every morning to purvey this broadcast. So I'm here. I have to be here right from the start, don't I, on that basis. How does it work for you? If you could describe the trajectory of a morning for you, do you wait for the YouTube notification? Do you open up the channel already? How does it work as a consumer, as one of the gumpers listening to the show? How does that work for you, if you don't mind telling me? Because I don't know what it's like from that point of view, I have to say. Anyway, yes, stressful this morning. You know that German word Schadenfreude? Schadenfreude, you know, where you get pleasure from other people's misfortune. You're going to find out now, if you think to yourself, oh no, that's awful. Finding pleasure in other people's misfortune is just terrible. I'm so above that. I wouldn't do that. Schadenfreude. No, I can understand. It's a German thing. It's not for me. I would never do that. I'm going to test you right now because Jimmy Choo has been living up to his name again. And you might have noticed that I have headphones on that are not my usual headphones. These are my usual headphones, aren't they? You know, they are my signature headphones. These are, some people don't believe or have never seen, they don't believe I've got ears, and they've certainly never seen them because of these headphones that are usually on my bonce in the morning. And they come with a very nice foamy, like a cushioned pad. And I was thinking to myself, it's probably after 27 years of having the pads on, it might be quite good to wash them, mightn't it? So I did. Excuse me. I took the pads off. Very clever design. Bayer Dynamic, if you tuned in this morning, I do love your headphones. I do. And for those sort of nerdy, geeky people, yes, these are the DT770 Pro headphones, 80 ohms resistance, the sort you might find in a professional recording or radio studio. And they come with a very thoughtfully attached foam pads, because Mrs. M wore these this morning. She did a show this morning and she wore these without the pads and thought, why are these headphones hurting my ears? And she was very angry when I told her why, because I hadn't told her why until after her hour of wearing headphones without pads on. Okay, so I take the pads off, I give them a wash, I put them in the sun, but they're a little bit damp. So I put them in my pocket after I take them off the washing line. My shorts are a little bit damp as well because I went for a swim in the sea, and that's another story. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Jay. Thanks for tuning in this morning. And Jean as well is already here as well. So I put them in my pocket. I'm thinking my body warmth. My body warmth seems to dry my shorts, swimming shorts, quite well sometimes when needs must. So maybe a little bit of body heat will help these dry. Later on that same evening, last night, I find that I only have one of these donuts in my pocket, and the other one has escaped. I'm looking around the house for it in places I've sat, by the dining table, by the computer downstairs. Still can't see it. And then it occurs to me, and my boy are looking around the house, and it occurs to me, Jimmy Chew, if he has found the one that fell out of my pocket, he would have taken that outside to his kennel and will be quite glad that, like a magpie, dogs aren't into shiny things like magpies are. Dogs are into smelly things, aren't they? And these pads that are on the human ears for hours on end must have some somewhat of a strong fragrance for a dog. So yes, I went out to the kennel to find a lacerated mass. Before and after. Before, hello, after. Thank you, Jimmy Chew. Mrs. M is so unhappy with you right now. Look, I gotta get on Amazon and get myself some new. Michael Heron has just joined in the green room, wondering why on earth I'm holding up my shredded underpants or whatever they happen to be on the screen. I'm going to get him guessing. What circular object might that be, Michael, that Jimmy Chew shredded up yesterday? Because he joined late into that conversation. Anyway, if you laughed at that, you are a person, my friend, dear Gumper, who likes a little bit of schadenfreude, a little giggle at someone else's misfortune, especially Mrs. M's this morning. Okay, we're off to a good start today. Opening act for Michael. It's true. And he'll be joining us in a few minutes. Let's see how everyone is this morning. Maybe we'll sneak in a quick Portuguese saying and a deep thought and even a bit of God Squad action this morning. Bon dia, Carl from Deagle then, and Gumpers from a very wet Belfast. Rained heavy overnight. Still raining this morning. Good for the garden. Thunder duck, as they say here in Belfast. Good morning. For the ducks, absolutely. It's duck weather. Bon dia then from the duck himself. Ducks are on every continent except Antarctica. There's a bonus fact for you this morning. James is in too. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz Catatoros. Como tem passado? Very good. Keeping up his Portuguese end there. Who doesn't like to keep up their Portuguese end first thing in the morning? When I was a boy of 14, Mark Twain. Oh, what's this? This is ominous. The final Mark Twain quote of the day. Was it the last thing he said, or is it the last one you can be bothered to find, James? When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But part two of this, but when I got to 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in 7 years. Yes, very good. Deserves one of those. And he's trying to sneak in a dad joke. Not yet. We'll do some of those with Michael Heron because I think Michael Heron might like to subject his kids to the occasional dad joke. And he might like a bit of material this morning as well. Okay. One of my all-time faves. Yes, it is a beauty, that, isn't it? Thank you very much. And growing old disgracefully, God Squad tip of the day. Who doesn't like a squat in the morning? I was reminded yesterday that to carry out this exercise properly, you have to make sure your heels remain on the ground. Okay, so if you're wearing high heels, please make sure they stay on the ground. They can be a nightmare for parquet flooring, of course, and any boggy ground that you walk off. Walk off, walk on, and walk off. So be careful with those heels. You don't want to be snapping them, do you? As sometimes happens when one is out partying and dancing with gay abandon. Thank you for that God Squad tip of the day. James, I took off. Cheers, Coach Turner. And thank you for that video, which I will immortalize in some way. That was really helpful. Thank you. I took the shell off my racing snail, says T-Duck to James, thinking it would make him go faster. Instead, it made him more sluggish. Now, we are going into dad joke territory. Enough of that for the time being. Bon dia, Alegria Gumpers from T-Duck, and a deep thought of the day from him. Employ your time in improving yourself by other men's writings, so that you shall come easily by what others have labored hard for. Indeed, Socrates was indeed the Greek philosopher from Athens who is credited as the founder of Western philosophy. Socrates, thank you very much. And Portuguese saying of the day, a quem sabe esperar a Sanjo, tudo vem a seu tempo e desejo. To those who know how to wait for an opportunity, Ooh, very prescient. To those who know how to wait for an opportunity, everything comes in its own time and desire. Very good. Liking that. A chance to reflect and stroke your beard, and you men as well, with this as you ponder some eternal ancient wisdom there. It has the mark of eternal truth about it, doesn't it? Does it not? That T-Duck, thank you very much. Coming back to the communist themed dad joke. That's good, isn't it? Therapy and communism in the dad jokes this morning. Can you signal to me, Michael, that you're happy to join us now? A little bit earlier than he's giving me a thumbs up, which is all I need to bring him onto the screen and ask him my first questions. Morning, Michael. How are you?
Good morning, Carlos. I'm very well. How are you doing, mate? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Apart from my headphones, that's what I was holding up when you joined.
I was going to say, I thought maybe you'd given me the wrong link or something. I was in the wrong chat for a minute there.
So easily happen, can't it? With so many platforms, one can easily find oneself in the wrong gathering.
Exactly.
No, Jimmy Choo did his worst on my. I was trying to wash my headphone cups, which is one way of referring to them, I guess. And one fell out of my pocket, and he took it out to his kennel and did that to. He's such a naughty boy. He really is. Yeah. So, how you doing, mate?
I'm good. Apologies for the boxes. Oh well, from your friends who work with you on the channel. We won't give them the free branding placement for too long. I'll push it to one side in a sec. But I just wanted to share with you. I'm moving this week, so if I'm looking a little bit disheveled, then that's why.
No. There you go. That's the wrong link to put on the screen there. But yes, that's
definitely the wrong. Yeah, definitely the wrong.
That's the branding we're used to, isn't it? When we see that logo. So you're not giving him the full exposure by keeping them upside down there. But that's the mark of a good logo, I suppose. It's pretty easy to see what that is. So a bit of product placement this morning, and full disclosure about why that's there this morning. I've got 3 questions for you that are on my mind. That when you come to mind, I have 3 questions on Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday that we'll be doing together this morning. First of the 3, then, drinking or not drinking at the moment, because we normally drink. We normally talk about that, don't we?
Yeah, it's a good question. At the moment, not. But I did indulge a little bit during the summer.
Yeah.
But at the moment, not. Yeah. So I think probably for at least for this month, I don't think I'll be drinking anything.
Very good, because it was you. The reason it's on the agenda when you and I get together is you inspired me, of course, to take a year off from drinking.
Yeah, mate, you smashed it. You did a whole year. That was incredible. How have you found it, by the way? Have you found that you're drinking less than you were before, or are you smashing it again?
No, not at all. I enjoy the wine tasting that we do. I've found out that I prefer white and Vinho Verde. I suppose my palate has been reset a little bit to a childish alcoholic palate.
Yes.
So the heavier, the red wine, I just don't like. Red wine, I mean, I can drink it and savor it, but it's not. I'm not thinking to myself, "Oh, a lovely glass of red." Red is in the same sort of area for me as coffee and cabbage and teacher's breath and that sort of thing. It's a heavy thing. And Vinho Verde does excite me. And of course, going back to the Imperial. The Imperial is for me is such a lovely part of Portuguese life. I'm so glad to be able to have a small shot of beer, thirst quenching, refreshing, and takes the edge off life slightly.
No, I think anyone who's gone long periods without drinking and then gone back again, the cold beer is the one that you miss the most, for sure.
Yeah, it's like bacon, isn't it? It's like if you're going to do veganuary, the thing you're worried about is bacon. And I think for not drinking, because it's almost like not drinking, isn't it? If you think about it, with Sagres, it's so low in alcohol. It's such a small drink that it is almost like the shandies we used to drink as children in the 70s. So, kids actually had alcohol in their shandy, didn't they? A tiny little bit, but it was in there, and nothing was thought of it. And
you used to be able. I remember buying it from my corner shop, and it had like 1% alcohol in it, and they'd sell it to you. Obviously, you'd have to drink a lot to get drunk, but there was a little bit in there.
You would, but you did need something to go with the single cigarette that they sold you as well, right?
Exactly.
When you were 8. Happy times in the UK.
Happy times in Norfolk, mate. Happy times in Norfolk.
That's right. I wonder what, in the cost of living crisis, I wonder what a single cigarette costs now. I mean, a packet of cigarettes in England is what, 10 quid, 14?
I think it's more than that, mate. Yeah, I mean, I haven't smoked for years, but I think it's about Yeah, I think it's about 12 quid. But I
Is
think,
it?
yeah, I think so.
That's crazy. That is
Yeah, it's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
So that's where I am
crazy.
with the drinking. Delighted to be, savouring an Imperial mainly and Vinho Verde. I've really discovered that missing it made the heart grow fonder. I just think Vinho Verde is such a Portuguese gift to the world, and I
It's
really like.
amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing. Sorry, let me just turn my emails off. I'm going to keep getting notifications. No, it's great because it's one of those drinks where it's a lot less strong than your typical wine, right? Because it's normally
yeah,
around 10% volume. So
yes,
you can knock back a few glasses and enjoy it and not worry about getting a bit too tipsy. And it goes. You can eat it with you can drink it with so many different types of food as well. So yeah, I
yeah.
think it's a great go-to for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Second question then. World Cup, excited or not excited?
Very excited, mate. You know me. It's
You
not for a
are.
while. I can't get too excited. Are you talking about the one in November? Or are you talking about a different one? Maybe I'm not following you.
Oh no, the Football World Cup, not the
Football World
Tiddlywinks.
Cup.
Not,
Yeah, it's in November. It's in November. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I'm very excited, and I think you're going to see a drop in performance from a lot of players in Europe, especially in the next month, as they care more about staying fit and not getting injured for the World Cup. So I think it's going to be a bit of a weird. It's going to be a bit of a weird couple of months in the football season. But yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible.
And do
It's going
you
to be
think? I
absolutely
mean,
incredible.
there's probably a phenomenon here. A lot of people will be sort of doing a mental boycott, at least. This is stupid. It's a winter World Cup. It's an air conditioned World Cup. It's just all about the money, blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff. The corporate critical end of football that people understandably get into. If you're a Man United fan, you know all about that, won't you? At the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think that for most people will just fall to one side? The fact that hundreds of people would die trying to make this World Cup and all of that sort of stuff will eventually be overshadowed by the passion for football and the true
Yeah,
essence of the game.
possibly. I mean, I think there has been more controversy about this World Cup than any other.
Yeah.
Not forgetting, at least the way that Qatar managed to get the World Cup. There was a lot of controversy around that.
Yes.
The human rights issues around a lot of them, especially construction workers for the stadiums. The fact that there's a huge legacy issue with what's going to happen to these facilities after the World Cup is completed.
Yes.
The time of year, but more importantly, I think it's if you're a fan that fits into the LGBTQ category, then you're not going to travel, or you're going to be very afraid to travel because it's
Yeah.
it's illegal to be gay in Qatar. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of controversy. Probably, I suspect what will happen is we'll all get caught up in the furore of it.
Yeah.
We'll enjoy it, and then afterwards there may be a sort of a reflection again as to probably it wasn't the best idea to do it this way.
Yeah, and I mean there are openly gay players, quite rightly now in the day and age we live in.
Very
Are they
few, very few. To my knowledge, there's only one in England right now, a young lad
right?
who plays for Bournemouth, who came out a couple of months ago. I
Right.
don't know if there are many others in other countries who will actually
Oh,
be at the
okay.
World Cup.
So
I'd
that's
be
not an
surprised.
issue in World Cup squads at the moment, because that would really put it on the line, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
And you would
yeah.
expect the
No,
whole footballing community to get behind that.
it's still a problem. So many years ago, mate, I used to do voluntary work for the Justin campaign, which is a charity that started a number of years ago, aiming to promote equality in football, and was there to provide support for any footballer that wanted to come out as gay. And it's
Yeah.
named after Justin Fashanu, who played for my club Norwich and was
Yep.
the first player to come out as being gay after he retired. And he
Mm.
unfortunately committed suicide, had a lot of problems. So I did some work for that charity for a few years, but to my knowledge, there's only been one or two that have come out in the last few years. So there's still a long way to go. And as any footballer will tell you, at every club, in every dressing room, there's at least one gay player. Obviously, by statistically, how could there not be if every squad has 23 men?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's an interesting situation. But yeah, I think this World Cup is going to be great, but at the same time, it's marred in controversy, right? It's going to leave a bit of taste
Which you
and
could
everyone's
say, couldn't you? I
mouths.
mean, if you're extreme about it, and sort of cancel culture-y about it, and I've got a video to play actually. Our great comedic friend Tama Katan was on social media yesterday talking about a cancel culture themed gig or series that he's doing. I think it's possible to enjoy football and be socially aware, isn't it? You don't have to go the full boycott and cancel, do you? I mean, the fact that the World Cup is on, it puts these issues in the agenda publicly, so that we can use that publicity to talk about important things.
It reminds me a lot. Obviously, I wasn't alive at the time, but I studied it when Nazi Germany hosted the Olympics in Munich in 1936.
Yeah.
Which was 3 years before World War II started, and that was a propaganda exercise for them to try and create a good image of Nazi Germany to the rest of the world. Now, I'm not comparing the Qataris to Nazis, but what I am trying to say is that for a country like that, and indeed for owners of football clubs such as Newcastle and Manchester City, who are from Saudi Arabia and the UAE respectively, you could argue that the purpose of making an investment like that, it's to clean their image.
Yes.
And that there's another agenda behind it. So I think that football in general, not just football, but everybody, but football especially, needs to be careful that money isn't everything, and there needs to be a stricter vetting process to ensure that these kind of things don't happen, because it's dangerous, right? If you're a Newcastle fan, you say, well, we were performing badly for years. We hated our previous owner, Mike Ashley, who never invested any money, and then we get this ownership from the Saudis, and all of a sudden we've got all of this money, and you're seduced by it. But what's the cost? That's my argument, and I think it's the same for this World Cup. What will be the cost of having a Qatari host?
Well, in the great course of history, this whole age might be characterized by that, mightn't it? This has been the money age. We haven't always had a money system like this, have we? And economic and political systems like this, and this is a symptom of it. And this is causing us to talk about it as it breaks down, and as it stretches, and as it causes controversy. So,
well, you're going down another path. You're going down another path, as you always like to, mate, and I fully respect that. But I would say,
I'm just going to do the psychic air freshener now.
Yeah. No, but it's all good. No, but it's great. I fully agree. I fully agree with you. And I think, but look, it's like when we talk about racism in football, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, football isn't racist. Society is racist. Football is just shining the spotlight on it. So if you're a fan and you're no longer doing monkey chants in the stadium, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're no longer not racist. It's just you've learned to behave in a certain way so you don't get banned from watching your team play. I think, we have to be careful with using football as a proxy. It's unavoidable given what's been happening and what will happen. But having said that, I'm still going to watch the World Cup and enjoy it.
That was my question. And why not? And I think cancellation, like you say, does exactly that. It modifies people's outward behavior, which of course is a good thing. But it's quite superficial, isn't it? I mean, it's literally superficial.
I hate cancel culture because you're effectively saying that nobody deserves a second chance for making a mistake. That's basically what you're saying.
Sorry, I'm probably sort of blurring the lines a bit there in what I'm calling cancel culture. But the idea of cancelling people whose ideas you don't like or have upset or offended you, and the modification of behaviour by telling people what to do, without re-education or understanding or compassion or empathy taking place. In the situation you described, a racist football fan just modifying his behavior, but not actually his heartfelt view of people of other colors, for example. I mean, that's not a victory, is it? It's a victory on the day because he's not doing his disgusting behavior, which you don't want in the ground. But he might not have changed he or she might not have changed as a person. So the education, the fuller discussion is equally, if not more important as well.
Yeah. Well, didn't Nelson Mandela say that you're not born racist, it's learned behavior?
Yeah.
And I think it all comes down to how you have been educated, or the environment you've been brought up in, and what you feel biased towards.
Yes.
So and understanding what causes that bias and how to re-educate, not to try and reprogram, because obviously everyone
or indoctrinate. Yeah.
No, but I think
you want the penny to drop, don't you? I mean, we've all had this in our lives, have we not? I have. You know, it's like I know, this is a probably daily thing. Oh, that was a stupid thing to think. I've been thinking it for a long time. I can let it go now, and that doesn't come from somebody shaming me on social media. Usually, when people shame me on social media, I'm often ready to double down on my view. But
well, I mean, I remember when I used to live in Devon many years ago, and made good friends there, and I had to point out to someone once why I didn't think it was a good idea that they call someone of color a darkie.
Yeah.
But to them, it was just something normal. Obviously, if you've grown up somewhere that's 99.9% white demographic, you're going to have a slightly different way of seeing the world. And they didn't mean it in a harmful way. It was just a word that was used that they'd learned to use, and I pointed out to them that that's offensive to someone of color. And they looked at me like, oh, do you know what? Maybe you're right. So, and that's not me pushing my views onto someone else. That's just me trying to point maybe they've made a mistake in using a word like that.
So you didn't just flounce off and shame them on Facebook?
No.
Well done. And those are the penny dropping moments, aren't they? I think if we're honest, we have had them, and we can continue to have them. All of us, not just those other people who we think are lesser than us. And I can imagine in Devon, I said, "Proper job, yeah, babe. I never thought of that before. Thank you, Michael." Well, that was a bit Jethro, wasn't it? Anyway,
that was a bit Plymouth. That was a bit more Plymouth than
Janner.
That was more Janner.
Okay, some people will not understand the last 30 seconds of this show. We'll move on then and ask you the third question. Did you find that full English breakfast that you were looking for? The holy grail of breakfast?
No, I haven't found it yet. So can someone please sort me out, because this is becoming a problem.
It's becoming a problem. And that,
because I know I can go to the British shop in Cascais, which is great, by the way. Yeah. But it's not the same as going somewhere that grills it for you,
that's part of the ritual. It's part of the ritual, isn't it? When you go to the Greasy Spoon in London, with you get a bit of double bubble on there, cup of tea with that, 2 slices. It's all about the context and the setting, and it being prepared and being thrown down in front of you with a big mug of tea or something like that. That's what it's essentially what you're talking about, isn't it? I think
exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Maybe now, look. I mean, I haven't been to the British shop for a while, but I would imagine they're having problems.
Mate, the one near me is shutting down. A Taste of Home.
They can't import stuff without paying huge tariffs anymore. It was like I had to order these. I had to order these plasters, these really thick plasters, from the UK, and I had to pay God knows how much. So next time I'll be. Yeah.
So the true cost at the moment, and incidentally, Taste of Home I believe it's in Alfaz around on the Silver Coast, is closing down, and they're having a half-price clearance sale. So one could take advantage of their misfortune, I suppose. Another bit of Schadenfreude this morning, but they are liquidating, so the stuff will go to a good home. But you're right about this. The full cost of maybe doing a full English at home, paying, if you go to a British shop and pay all the all that duties passed on to you, it might cost you about 50 quid to just have a decent fryer. But that should only really cost £2.99, and some days 2 for the price of one, £2.99 in the UK. And you're getting a quality sausage when you've only paid £2.99 for a full English.
Yeah, I mean £2.99 is cheap. I mean, I think a fiver, unless you're going to Wetherspoons, a fiver I think is
that's the one. Wetherspoons. I want a pint of beer for £2.99 if I'm having something at Wetherspoons as well. All right, thank you for updating me on those 3 very important and valuable questions.
No, my pleasure.
Let's see what our and if there's anything you want to ask me, you go ahead. Full transparency. Bon dia from Stephen this morning. And yes, we have, but you're your own opening act a little bit early this morning, and I think we'll probably say goodbye to you about past. I think
that'll be perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Overcast down your way then, and it was true. 60 seconds in, and I had distracted myself several times in the search for a thread. Jean, New Jersey, bon dia todos, feliz quarta-feira. Very good, Jean. Just sounds. Is it just me, or does English breakfast sound like a euphemism? Now, it's not, is it, Michael? Portuguese breakfast, however, should never be searched for on the internet, and that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Unless you want to add anything to that.
Okay, I mean, this is words. I've never heard that before. Maybe I'm naive.
All right. and I would say to you in this particular instance, stay that way, my friend.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Pandora's
Thanks,
box.
mate. Appreciate that. Thanks for the warning.
Right. Or do you get here at 4:30 to be the first to comment? Who was that? Is that to me? Hi, from Jay, a new name. I will live in Portugal and I'll have a 9 to 5 job in central Portugal. I want to rent in Montijo Setúbal and have around 400 to 500 to rent. Is it doable to go every day from Montijo to Lisbon? Well, that is, of course, it is. It's a great train. Is that ferry or train they're going to be taking?
You've got. So it depends where you need to get to in Lisbon. If it's central Lisbon, you can get. There's a boat from Montijo to Cais de Sodré, which takes about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So that can be very convenient. And the Vasco da Gama bridge, which is the long 16.5-kilometer bridge, as opposed to the 25 de Abril, is much easier to get across because it's bigger. There's less traffic. So I would say actually Montijo is a good shout, and there's a lot of Lisboetas who have relocated to Montijo in the last few years because it's a lot more cost effective. So yeah, I'd say Montijo is a great option.
The south of the river thing is definitely a phenomenon, and wise foreigners are looking at that, aren't they? 400 to 500 on rent, that's possible, isn't it? I mean, that's going to keep rising given what we've just said, but that sounds like it might be doable.
Yeah, to save around 400 or 500 rent. Yeah, that's probably fair. I mean, I think in Montijo you can get a decent, to save. Yeah, so in Montijo you can get a decent T2, which is a 2-bedroom apartment, for about €700, 750 euros a month. And obviously, if you're looking at central Lisbon, that would be easily 1,500. So yeah, maybe a bit less.
Sorry,
so yeah, you're saving about 500 by living in Montijo. Yeah,
very good. And it's not as if, like, if you're in the UK, when you move out of town into the home counties, you still have to pay 3,000 or 4,000 for a season ticket on the train. Not the case in Lisbon, is it? No. Not only is the public transport great, you say you don't have a car, and time and cost wise, the public transport is great and it's very good value. How is the public transportation availability cost? Very good, as we've said, and as Michael's detailed for you there. Or will I end up losing money and time if I live in Montijo? No, you will lose some time. It's going to be a longer commute. But I tell you what, you're going to feel like Don Johnson in the mornings on a summer morning on the ferry coming across Asia. It's just one of those magical experiences, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Well, as you know very well, the boat from Casillas to Cais de Sodré that we used to take a lot when we lived in Aroeira. It's great. It's a great journey to do in the morning. Yeah, and the boat's really reliable. It's great. And so if Jay is planning to be working in central Lisbon, then boat to Cais de Sodré, and then from Cais de Sodré you're straight on the metro.
There's that station, Michael.
It's literally you walk. Yeah, you literally walk like 100 meters or less from the boat to the underground. It's really, really close.
And the buzz, right? That embankment, that part of Lisbon is just wow. You get there in the mornings, baby. It's just fantastic. That vibe.
It's great.
I think you'll have a good time.
And when you go home, sorry, just to interrupt you. And when you go home, you feel like you're leaving the city and all the stress behind on the boat.
Yes.
It's a very peaceful way of.
And you might see a beautiful sunset on the water, and you know, Cristo Rey, the old bridge. It's just fantastic, Jay. I think that doesn't get old quickly. All of that, as I recall. And Michael making reference to the old days when you made it sound like we had a kind of expats version of the Young Ones when we lived south of the river in Aroeira. That could be quite a good TV show, couldn't it? Like the expat Young Ones and how they fared when they first got to the country.
So which one of us is Neil then?
I don't know. You're my guest. You can choose. I mean, people will probably stereotype me as Neil, I suspect. But who would you like to be in that situation?
I wouldn't want to say. I mean, none of them are a good look, particularly.
It's true. It's true. But the money might be good, Michael. The casting, we need to be in it. If we're gonna co-write it and be in it.
A Portuguese South Bank version of the Young Ones would be phenomenal.
It would be great, wouldn't it? And four guys sharing a bottle of €1.50 wine in the evening, sharing a chicken from the Churrasquera down the road. It's Netflix. If you're listening, we've got.
It writes itself. It writes itself.
Sydney B, Mondial Grega, how you doing, Sydney? Great to have you here. How does it work for me? I woke. Oh, I see this. Okay, I've got you. This is. I was asking people how they
Wow, some
ease their
dedicated.
way.
There's some dedicated viewers today, man. That's
They
amazing.
so are, mate. And you do bring some boys and girls to the yard. It has to be said
It's
when
not
your
true.
name
It's not
appears.
true.
How does it work
It's
for
not
me? I woke up at 2:15 and thought I'd say hi. Well, that works for us as well. Oh, replacement pads, €15. Is that for a pair? And I'm not going to be importing them from England, hopefully, because that'll end up at about €75 with duty on top. But thank you, T-Duck, for looking into that straight away. That is why he is an executive producer here. Bon dia, Carlos. E a todos from Moaz. Good morning, Moaz. Jimmy Chu, apparently, is a messenger of the universe telling you it's well past time to get a new pair of earpads. Well, it is now. Look at this, Jimmy Chu. Hey, bon dia from Chris. Do you ever use that? I mean, EI is the name of our esteemed colleagues, of course, and their company led by Gilda. But it is like saying hiya. Oi.
Yeah.
Do you like an oi or an A yourself in the mornings?
I don't know. Not really, no, if I'm honest.
Not really. That is honest, and I like it. Okay, very elaborate story to cover up that you are carrying piles rings with
well,
you.
Stephen has been up too early. He's going to get himself in trouble when he needs to be.
He is quite what would I say? Observant, though.
Yeah.
Or speaking from his own experience.
Maybe.
Yeah. Bon dia from Sarah. Thank you for your idea, Sarah. Perhaps we can talk tomorrow morning about that. Sarah had a lovely idea about making an interactive map of expats Portugal members around the country.
Nice.
So that would work. And you're talking about some fancy technology. So maybe we could have a chat about that. And another great band recommendation, the Olives, right? Really, I suppose the Azeitonas. Azeitonas. Heard of them, Michael? Who are your go-to Portuguese band if you have such a thing?
Mate, I'll be honest with you. My knowledge of Portuguese pop music or alternative music is very, very weak. It's very, very weak. Yeah, I'll tell you what I do. Anyone who lives in the Lisbon area, there's a great radio station called Oxigênio, and they play a lot of alternative music like hip hop, R&B, soul, house, and they put a lot of Portuguese artists on there, and some of the music is great. But I just don't always, know who it
Antena
is.
Tres, similarly, I think. I mean, that's a state broadcaster, isn't it? Antena Tres.
Yeah.
That's really good as well. I mean, on a Saturday night, it's a very cool sort of EDM show, or some of the other evenings, and the whole spectrum of music that they play during the day is good. And they don't care about the swearing. It's just like culturally different. So whereas you have to spin it backwards or bleep it. Over in UK or probably in the US, unless you're listening to a specialist station.
Yeah, you have to play the radio edit, right? Which can't have any swear words in it.
Yeah, in Portugal, the effing and jeffing is in there to be enjoyed for the whole family in the car. Squat, what a great word! It is. And Simon is here. Good morning, beautiful people.
Good morning, Simon.
And Baddy in Iceland. Look at this. Tuned in from Iceland, Michael. Baddy's with us. And another new name, I think you may have been the attraction here for another new. Although, have we spoken to you maybe once or twice before? Jeffrey Lane Pease with a huh. I wonder if I offended you earlier on and you just said huh, and now you've gone. Como se diz squat in Portuguese? Okay, well, those Portuguese speakers who know how to squat in Portuguese, could you let us know? I think it would be one of those words that would stay the same, right, in a gym, squat. But we'll see. Garvo, Linda, me and Andy saw the future of your coiffeur in Covilha at the weekend, Carl. Did you get a picture, Pete? It's all very well. I imagine it was a comb over, so do send me the picture if you got one. You know how you do that, don't you? You kind of put someone in the foreground and then you take the picture. Good luck with your move, Michael. Remember, only death and divorce are more stressful, so they go from Pete.
I'm fully aware of that, my friend. Fully aware.
Just not much alcohol, yes. And that is the funny thing, isn't it? When you're asking about, are you drinking or not drinking? Yeah, alcohol was the bit I missed out. But it's euphemistically the case in our culture, isn't it? Such is our dependency or relationship to alcohol. Drinking means alcohol often, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. Who doesn't like a bit of product placement in the morning? Oh, look, we've got it. It's an agachamento. Agachamento, which sounds equally alluring, doesn't it? Agachamento there. Native ads. I drink every day. Yeah, not just it's alcohol. Philomena sent a message in. Bon dia, We'll see Philomena. You know what? There's a grape picking opportunity. So she does this every year. I think it's a lot of fun. Who wants to join the grape picking in Penella? A chance to see Penella, which is fantastic. Ever been there, Michael? In
I haven't. No, I haven't. But I was in the water region recently, and I know they've had to pick the grapes a lot earlier this year
Oh,
because
okay.
of the heat. Yeah,
The
they've had
weather,
to pick
right?
it the earliest in like 40 years, I think.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. So if you now is a great time to buy grapes because they'll be super fresh, super tasty.
There you go. Nice little produce tip there. Filomena from Pete and an obrigado, senor pato do trabalho. The thunder duck in Portuguese. They're very good. Yeah, so we'll get in touch with Filomena Trips for Brits, the number 4, trips4brits at gmail.com.
Nice.
And we'll talk to her on Friday, of course, as well. Any questions for Filomena, get them in, send them to me on the WhatsApp line, and we'll get those steady and ready for Filomena on Feel Good Friday. We call those people designated drivers. I think they're the ones who aren't drinking, I guess. The wine
Yeah.
picking is simply fantastic. Excellent food company and a T-shirt and a chance to shift a few kilograms in grapes and body weight, perhaps. There, I'm sure it's quite hard work too. A nice workout. And then on the 1st of October, we're hearing the deer in the mountain at night calling for mating. The deer, I mean. Well, I suspect expats looking for partners might go along, and you could meet somebody in that environment as well. Sorry, Philomena, I think I already deleted the poster, but that was the one you sent us yesterday, wasn't it? And it was what looked to me like a midnight walk. But what you're doing is going on a walk to hear the deer screaming into the moonlight as they look for a mate. And we've all been there, haven't we? In our youth, Saturday night, similar sort of ritual. Or am I speaking for myself?
Have we? I don't know, mate. I think that's maybe just you.
Hey, I'm going to move on then. Really? Okay. Has made a point of boycotting locations that legally support social injustices. Well, there you go. The NBA are sticking it to the man there, like China as well. Oh, this was going back to our earlier conversation, wasn't it, about the role where politics and sport converge and social change. Thank you for your charity work to you, Michael, from Moaz there.
Oh, that's kind of you.
Really interesting point there, Michael, to add to the list of horrific working conditions and deaths, corruption, global warming. What a legacy Blatter leaves. Yeah, a real. He's not even a Marmite figure, is he? I mean, people just don't like him today, unless they're giving him money to bring about, allegedly, to bring about some sort of World Cup event.
Yeah, I mean, probably not my place to go into this topic, but what I will say is FIFA have something like 1 billion euros on their balance sheet. Why do they need that much money? That's all I'll say.
Well, rainy day, mate. Rainy day.
Yeah.
Rainy day. Bon dia from Antonio F. There's some amazing calling for mate. Oh, things have slowed up here. Let me just see if I can put a bit of WD-40 on the show. Psst, there you go. There were some amazing calling for a mating amongst the young English contingent at the Festa of. See, it's not just me, Michael.
There you go.
This works throughout the animal kingdom, I think, but especially so among young British people and deer, it would appear. Hola, Senor Antonio from Filomena. There, excellent. The victory comes when the loss of money hurts so much. Policy and law get changed. Yeah, all part of this working out in our culture, isn't it? Bon dia alegria from Mark. How are you doing, Mark?
Our friend from Norfolk. Good to see you, mate.
Yes, of course. Hola, bon dia, kids, and Carla Michael. We're not kids anymore, Michael. Oh,
that's sweet. Thank you, Victoria.
Our maturity has been recognised in that simple sentence there from a sunny Portimao. Michael, thank you. I am fluent in Portuguese and English. Is there a good place on the internet where this info is easily available? Thanks in advance. What information do you think that was about? Or about?
I don't know. It could be anything, couldn't it? Send a follow-up question or send me an email. I'll happily answer you, whoever that is. No problem.
Michael at avanlight.com?
.com, yeah.
.com, there you go. Perhaps when you get your full English breakfast, you will experience a happy ending. That's not normally...
That's not normally how it works. I don't know how it works where you're from, mate, but where I'm from, you don't get a happy ending after.
Yeah, because there are quite a few British tourists in Bangkok, for example. That maybe James might have been led astray one night in Bangkok as the famous song.
Dear.
Yes. Oh, blessing of the helmets is coming up, Michael, just so you know, for your diary. Bon dia, alegria todos. Going to be like yesterday, and listen and work and lurk. Hope you're all well. Just so you know, full English in Praia Rocha at the Irish Rover on a cliffside veranda with sweeping view. Oh, okay. One day. That could be the closing scene, though, of our expat young ones, couldn't it? They grow up, and they meet years later. That's the kind of denouement, or the final scene where they're old and mature and they're having a full English together in Praia de Rocha, where they've probably retired.
We should film the next one of these together, having a full English breakfast. That would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
All right, I think that's yeah. It would be good to get on the road. T Duck might want to join us in an executive production capacity. He's probably going to need to be Lisbon or the Algarve, isn't it? Frank should be there as well. Okay, the plan is coming together, and we'll film the ending sequences of the movie as or maybe as a prequel of the expats, young ones, because Frank will definitely be into that. I think it's all coming together beautifully. And when you're in a flow like this, it's a great idea. Brexit is ruining online. Oh, okay. Did you have any further information on that? I think
on that, yeah. No, is my honest answer. No.
Well, how it tends to work is
if I did, I wouldn't have paid the huge tariffs that I paid. Put it that way. So I'm not the best person to ask
for the most expensive plasters that anyone has ever purchased. Yeah. I mean, the way it tends to work, I think, Maxine, is you buy something from the UK. And then you never do it again. That's really how it works.
Basically, isn't it? It doesn't arrive, and then you have to go to the post office and pay the custom duty in order to get your item. That's what happens, basically.
Yeah, and I know somebody American who ordered some T-shirts. I think it happens to other countries as well with the duty, and you do end up buying the most expensive versions of these things. It's like, oh yeah, I'll get myself some of those favorite American T-shirts that I've always loved all my life. They're good size, good fabric, and they only cost $30 each. But then at the end of it, it's like $130 for a T-shirt, which you could have actually compromised and just worn a local one. Maybe stretched it a bit. But anyway, Maxine, sorry we can't be more helpful on that. Others might, though. Others might. We may see that. To Jay, in Lisbon, you can purchase a public transportation pass that covers public transportation in the district. And it's a big district, let's face it, for 40 euros. So I think you're saving on rent, and your 40 euro travel card is going to be a great strategy, but you will have that hour of travel. Do you think it's going to be an hour all in from Montijo?
I mean, it depends, mate. So if you live close to the boat, it's 20 minutes to Cais de Sodré. It could be less. It depends where in Lisbon you need to get to. Let's say you needed to get to Marques Pombal, then it probably would be an hour.
Yes.
But if not, then maybe a bit less.
Okay, a little bit of a caveat here. The 40 euro pass, as far as I know, you need to have a Portuguese citizen's card or residence permit to have it.
Yeah.
Is that right? You got to show your okay. All right.
Yeah, but if you live in the Cascais area and you have a residence card, transport in the Cascais area is free.
Okay. Well, yes, of course, Cascais, and others might follow. That's a precedent for the country, isn't it? So others might follow with that. Excellent idea. Okay, I've been oid a few times. He's putting a few comments. These are sort of they're not lurking comments. That's just I'll leave that hanging there kind of comment. There are some mischievous people here, aren't they?
Yes, there are.
M80 as well. Another favorite radio station.
Thank you. Good station as well.
Yeah, there are some great radio stations here. And Raquel is here.
Hi, Raquel.
Raquel was the one who asked us about pearl necklaces, I think, if I remember.
No.
You
don't think so. Yeah, I'm positive.
Carl and Michael, bom dia a todos. Tudo bem? Sim, tudo bem. Contigo, Raquel. Great seeing you both together again. A warm big hug to Portugal, land of memories, of a life worth living, memories of you and me. Very nice. Thank you very much,
That's
Raquel.
Very sweet. Thank you, Raquel.
And Bangkok, another trick word. Indeed. Denouement. I slipped that in, didn't I? Who doesn't like to slip in a denouement first thing in the morning? I love that word. Always have done ever since I heard a film reviewer using it. Denouement. Love it. Literally. Well, thank you, Della, for identifying me as such. My inner 13-year-old is alive, well, and fully active. Yes, it is. But that doesn't stand up in court as a defense, I have to tell you. No. We're out early. Yes, my DNA made me do it. We're out early. Hope to see some of you at the meetup later. Ciao, T-Duck. See you later, mate. If you can help me get there, I'll shoot. We've got a cameraman, and he's very, very good. Francis in Cape Town in South Africa. I think he probably knows the young ones vibe as well. I have met Nigel Planer briefly. I imagine he might give us his blessing on that, especially if he gets to fly out as a script advisor and spend months in the Algarve. Who wouldn't, right?
Absolutely.
Smash that like button. Porky Feet Andy's in. We're going to play your go-karting video later. A bit later. Been sorting out the roofers. boot and arse. Is that the tactic? Is that your management style? Boot up the bottom. Been sorting the roofers. That sounds a bit ominous, doesn't it?
Now that sounds like a euphemism to me.
Yes, okay. But I think Andy is actually trying to get his roof done. How would you go about that, motivating Portuguese workers as an expat? I'd be out there with cold Sagres personally.
Yeah, I'd be out there with the beers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's not just a Portuguese challenge, is it? This is global.
No, certainly not. No, you know, fellas working on the roof, they have their own culture. And I suspect they wouldn't take too kindly to a bit of boot and arse but let's see.
I think that'll probably have the opposite effect.
Yeah, Andy, let us know how that went. How's that working for you?
Yeah.
Okay. In Cascais, public transport is free. Yes, Maxine, thank you very much for that, as Michael said there. And fun fact, Shiado means wheeze, as in the chest sound of asthma.
Okay,
is that because the terrain walking up and down those streets makes you wheeze? But that's great. Something we're learning there. Legal, what's this? That makes it legal residents and workers, I believe. Not sure. Oh, that's for the transportation. It's anyone, isn't it, Michael, in Cascais?
Yeah, you have to be a resident. Yeah, so as long as you're a resident, you have a residence card in the area, then you can use it for free. Yeah.
All right then, and another here from Sarah, helping out with Jay. I think if you had a folding bicycle to any of Michael's transportation routing suggestions, you can cut down the time considerably, depending on elevation, of course. And yes, you might not want to be cycling to Shiado.
You're a brave man. You're a brave man or woman or person if you're cycling in certain parts of Lisbon. Let me tell you that there isn't a cycle lane. Yeah.
The ultimate challenge probably is to go around that dual concentric roundabout at Marques de Pombal, wouldn't it? That you've earned your stripes as a cyclist if you can contemplate that.
Oh, but there's cycle lanes down Avenida Liberdade and up towards Saldana now, so it's not too bad. You can get around there. You can get around there pretty comfortably now.
And where you mentioned before, Cais de Sodré, I mean, if you come off the ferry there and you've got a folding bike, the lanes on the waterfront are beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So I mean, the infrastructure here has improved massively since I got here 8 years ago. It really
yes, indeed. Yeah. Okay, so any questions for Michael based on that 8-year experience? Do let us know. Only joking, the roofers are moment. Oh, well, glad to hear it. And I think he probably not only will he be out there with the cold Sagres, probably a few tremosos as well, maybe a chamosa or a little bit of a. I think maybe, given that you live in the Bairrada, treat them to some suckling pig butties for lunch is what I would suggest. Yes. Owen, morning, beautiful people. Right back at you. Morning to you, Owen. Let's do a few dad jokes. As a dad yourself, Michael, have you got any favourites? Do you like to subject your children to some wincing humour from time to time?
Not really. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's just more like, the observational humour. So.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it when my son was about four months, something like that, and he could barely sit up in his in his cot or whatever you want to call it. I fell over really badly, and he just started wetting himself laughing. I thought, yeah, you're British, mate, fantastic. I was so happy. I went over and hugged him. Yeah. So I think yeah.
You were crying for all sorts of reasons.
Yeah,
the recognition of that bond of humour, and that he was truly British in his. I don't know what the British. What is the equivalent of Schadenfreude then in England? Taking the pee, I suppose, isn't it? Or just being a callous brute.
I guess, yeah.
But it is a thing.
It's something we've developed over thousands of years, right? It's something that I think we're very proud of as British people. We really thrive off it, and it's great to see your children being born in another country like Portugal. And I guess the Portuguese do have a similar dry sense of humour to us Brits. I think that's probably why so many of us are here. Yeah, but I think ours is a bit more savage, probably. And it's just great to see my kids just taking the mick out of each other, taking the mick out of me. I take the mick out of them. So I'd say I do more of that than like dad humour.
Yeah,
so it's a bit more sophisticated, maybe, or maybe not. It's probably more like Benny Hill humour,
Yes, taking the mick. That's what we call it, isn't it, in the UK? And banter. It's become known as banter as well, hasn't it?
Banter.
Okay, we go to we have been duly warned, and here they are then for this morning. Dad jokes from T-Duck. We do these every morning. Communist. God, this is good. Politics as well in this dad joke.
Brilliant. Look at that. Well done.
Communist jokes aren't funny unless everyone gets them.
That's brilliant.
Very, very good.
Oh, look at that. He's got the sound effects with the drums and everything. This level of production has gone up like tenfold. This is unbelievable.
We've changed, man, haven't we? You've changed, man.
Yeah.
Are we still cool? Are we still cool?
I don't know. I like the day when you had a few hundred subscribers. Now you're in 5 figures. I don't know. I think you're a sellout. You've got your branding. At least you haven't got the sponsorship anymore, because you used to have the sponsorship on there.
Well,
I don't know what's happened there.
in a Barclay League style. Yeah,
Yeah.
I quite like that. It just felt like being a footballer with all the logos behind me. But okay, all right. Yes, I was going to say something else there, but I've forgotten now. But you know how we've changed from a few hundred to a few thousand. Oh yeah, I know. I mean, do you not like having to deal with me through a PA anymore? Is that the problem?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's
Gatekeeper.
it. And
Yeah.
the thing that I noticed was the new chair. That was what really shocked me. The
That was
last
a
time I
sign that
saw
I'd
one.
gone up in. It's on the other
Yeah.
side of the desk. You know, it's because a friend, an expat friend, wanted us to look after some stuff of theirs, and they just happened to have a really nice chair. Now the problem with it is it made me look like Queen Elizabeth I, didn't it? In a contemporary style, it was a bit too big, wasn't it?
I wondered if you've come into some money through the success of the channel, and you bought yourself a nice chair, and then you realized you were losing the respect and engagement of your audience. You decided to go back to the rubbish chair you had before. That's what I thought. I thought, oh yeah, he's being smart. He's underplaying it. You know, he doesn't want to be seen to be talking down to us.
If I start doing the Puff Daddy fur coat in the mornings, you will send me a message, won't you? And bling and stuff.
No, it was just because it was that, and seeing the logos on the back, like in one go, I was like, oh wow, Mr. Munson's really stepped up. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, I think it's fantastic. I'm not.
But it was okay. Too much. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't you hate it when someone answers their own questions? I do. Yes.
Oh wow, look at that.
And you're going to hear it again. The third one, my therapist says I have a preoccupation for revenge. Well, we'll see about that. Actually,
thank God I've only got 4 minutes left.
Well, that's why I held them to the end there. But there's another one, mate. Had a little mix-up at the store today. Apparently, when the cashier said, strip down facing me. Oh, come on, Michael.
Oh,
she was referring
No, I can't. I'm not feeling these at all. I'm not feeling these at all.
But it's a great idea when you're at the supermarket, isn't it? Should anyone say that to you, you have got the option, I think, to take that literally. Okay, so clearly, no, dad joke thing, not your style. So,
yeah. I think, do you know what? It was because my grandfather was it was constant. And he would make up jokes. He would make up jokes all the time. So I think, like, subconsciously, I was like, I can't subject my family to that.
Okay, mate. Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, all right. Well, you've got the psychological scars to prove it. So, do you know, I should actually have maybe a helpline then for people in your situation who
maybe
not related to this at all. Okay, so I'm sorry if we've caused you any trauma.
It's okay. I forgive you this time.
Don't do dad jokes. Okay, we'll put that in your rider. No dad jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. There's a downside. Predetermined places where you have to leave the bike to recharge. Okay, that is the downside. Thank you, Antonio, for that. How might the behavior Schadenfreude assure? How might that survive? Sorry, how might that behavior assure our survival as a built-in thing? Laughing at each other's. I suppose it's humiliation, isn't it? We learn from humiliation, maybe. I love British humor. Talking of humiliation, I can't wait to come to Portugal so I can be British, but I still had to look up butty. Yeah, you don't want that in your search history, I don't suppose. Respect of his audience. That's been questioned. Could look at that. And Joao,
you're getting trolled here, mate. You're getting trolled here badly.
There is a thin line, isn't there, between a little bit of banter and a little bit of passive aggression and a resentment that bubbles over from time to time. Helpline, yes. Okay, so if anyone has been traumatized by the dad jokes this morning, I don't know quite what to do about that, but we can work on it, can't we? I think James is okay. Here we go. If the dad jokes have re-traumatized you, okay, that's easy to say. We need to be providing the means for it and take some responsibility for that, I think. Okay, in your last moments with us this morning, and good luck with the move, Michael. Is there anything that was on your mind that you were bringing to the party to share?
Well, I can just quickly share something with anyone that's moving or moving to a new place for the first time in Portugal. Just check a few things, because even things caught me a little bit by surprise, and I've been here 8 years. So, for example, things like electricity, gas, and water not being set up the day you move in. I mean, luckily I had a month to move into my new place, but I'm going there right. That's why I had to leave at 9:30, because at 10 I have to be there for the electricity, tomorrow for the gas. I was there for the water last week. So yeah, just be careful when you take on a new property. Just make sure you find out all these things in advance, because I didn't, and got there on collection day of the keys, and there was nothing. Even the gas meter wasn't there, so I had to pay extra for that to be installed. For
No way.
the gas. Yeah. It was proper, like literally nothing there. So just be aware of that, because it's not like in other countries where you'll just take over the contract from the previous
Well, it's
tenant.
like,
If there was
the question gets asked, is it? So, do you want electricity, water, and gas? Then, oh, you should have
yeah,
said.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Basically, yeah.
So
So
don't
yeah,
get
just be careful with that. What else did I want to share? I think that was pretty much it, really. Oh yeah, and don't leave packing to the last minute like me.
Okay. Do you know what, mate? If I was anywhere nearer, I would be packing with you. I'd be helping you move, and
all good,
we
mate.
would celebrate. We would celebrate with a full English. We would go out and find one, and we would celebrate a Weatherspoon style with a big old Kaneka, and the closest we could find to a full English. What is a Brompton? I don't think that's a question for you, and it might be a euphemism. So we'll steer clear of that. Jean Bombert. Oh, nice name. Bon dia, still meeting on Wednesday. Yep. See you at Palmera at 1 o'clock if you want to join us on the Silver Coast. Michael's busy. Bon dia, Owen, how are you? Not heard from you for a while, says Pete. Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, mate.
Great
Appreciate it. Sorry, it's a bit shorter today. Really lovely to see everyone. And yeah, next month you'll see me in my new place. Maybe I'll give you a little tour.
Yes, don't get yourself a flash big chair or anything like that, will you? Or splash out on any sort of posy lighting. We love you just as you are. Don't go changing.
I won't. You too, man. All right, lovely to see you all.
See you at the blessing of the helmets as well. Forgot to mention that.
What is this? Blessing of the helmets?
You don't know what the blessing of the helmets is? It happens at Fatima Are you kidding me? I thought.
Okay. I thought you were talking about. I mean, I didn't want to ask what you were talking about.
Why? Why would you not want to ask about the blessing of the helmets, Michael? Anyway, I'll say goodbye to you, and we'll maybe see you later in September. Ciao. Bye, mate.
Well done, mate. Ciao.
Here he goes. Michael Heron, everybody. Blessing of the helmets, of course, is where you go to Fatima on your bicycle, motorbike, and you are given good luck and prayers for your safety on your bicycle there. Oh, what's this? I hope this is savory.
Hola, bom dia, alegria. Any questions about the language for Friday? So I'm waiting for your questions. Bye. See you on Friday.
There you go. Thank you very much, Philomena, for that. Philomena Friday. Tomorrow, I'll be talking to another Carl. 2 Carls on your screen. 2 Carls for the price of one. Carl Hyde joins me on Moving to Portugal Thursday. Ian and Fabrizio will be back. They will be back. They were very popular and very good, talking about being buyer's agents in Lisbon. So they will join us again next month. I think they might be in Paris, actually. They said enjoying themselves in Paris. Not sure entirely about that, but they will. And what I am sure about is they intend to join us next Thursday, the second Thursday of next month. And my special guest tomorrow will be Carl Hyde, who stepped in, who gladly stepped in, who lives on the south side of the water as well, in that part of Lisbon that we talked about, which is where we could film the expats, young ones, and he'll be talking about his expat journey, and we'll be looking at some lovely property as well, to whet your appetite and to savor on some lovely luxury property in Lisbon tomorrow to take a look at. Okay, what else are you saying? Because we've got a go-karting video to play. Can't imagine myself doing electricity, water, and gas every day. I think I'm going to hire a helper to help me with this stuff in Portugal. And of course, you can. And then your buyer's agent should be able to help you with that. Good agents do help out with this sort of stuff. But I think the point Michael was making is that don't assume that it's all going to be ready for you and you're just going to be taking over the bill. It doesn't work like that. And Joao F with a wonderful a wonderful message for us. Joao, we will be in touch, and I do love your idea, and we will get to meet up sometime soon. There is no time to name you all because you've all grown in astronomical numbers. So here it is. Hello, Gumbers, from Joao F, whose legendary performance from last Thursday's webinar you can see up on the YouTube channel Expats Portugal. And Brompton is a really, really nice folding bicycle. And do you know what? I think it's from Brompton, the area area of Brompton in South Kensington in London, isn't it? Where it was made and marketed. Is that right, Sarah? That's where I grew up, around there, the Brompton. I missed the footy chat. I just woke up, still hot in Cali, especially in the no aircon areas on the coast. He'll be back before the World Cup, Nubianet, so we'll be able to talk about football. Don't worry about that with Michael. And hello to you from Pete. You are such a cool dudette. If anyone can stay chilled, it is you. Yeah, so all the best, for staying cool in Cali right now. Philomena sounds a bit Portsmouth, innit? Well, I don't know. Perhaps. And she sent a poster in as well. This is the... Oh, I've got a few things to share with this morning. Let me do the go-karting for you. So this is Andy, who just accused Philomena of coming from Portsmouth. This and a... Oh, where did the go-karting video go? I think I might have to download that. In the meantime, I did upload your go-karting and it's gone now, Andy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this from Tama Katan, who was on Facebook. And let me just set this up for you so that you can understand exactly what he's saying. Although I'm going to have to reload the page. Facebook isn't there. Have we got a Facebook outage, or is it just my PC playing up here? It could well be. And Pete will be sniggering because he thinks I should be using an Apple device and not this. So Tama, he says this was in relation to a fan getting in touch and something to do with the cancel culture. A couple of weeks ago, says Tama, a fan messaged me from a hospital bed and said one of the things that helped her forget her pain was watching my comedy videos. This is Tama talking. I was beyond humbled, even embarrassed to share it now. A few hours later, the same video that brought her relief was kicked off social media, only Instagram, for being offensive. There was no logic or explanation. A complaint equals a removal. Isn't that an awful thing? I haven't been able to stop thinking. I do understand it as well. With the numbers we're talking about, I suppose sometimes they will go to err on the side of caution. But I think there is a poignancy to this. I haven't been able to stop thinking about the negative side of woke, says Tama. Then my friend Vitor Patushkan creates a show about pushing back against cancel culture, and I couldn't wait to be on it. Not to offend, not to shock, but to remind audiences that laughing at our shared pain, this maybe refers to what you were talking about, Schadenfreude, and what the purpose of laughing at ourselves is, James. Not to offend, not to shock, but to remind audiences that laughing at our shared pain is one of the most communal experiences we have as human beings. People don't just want honest comedy. Now more than ever, we need it, says Tama. So here's a little bit of a treat courtesy of the man himself and a little bit of a performance here.
I like the way you adjusted yourselves. The show's called Cancel Culture. I was just dipping my toes, you guys. This is what happens. Cancel culture is about jokes, right? There's going to be some jokes in this set that you're not going to like. There's going to be some jokes that you don't like. But there's no reason to get upset. We're not really mean people. Like, the people who get mad at comedians for being mean are the same people who go to strip bars and goes, she really loves me. No, she doesn't.
There you go. Our good mate Tama Katan there, making a joke about not being able to make a joke, perhaps there. Thanks, Tama, and all the best to you with that particular tour and what you're doing. A lot of this is, I think, a lot of the important social work or social change, social innovation is resting on the shoulders of comedians. And of course, the important thing is to keep talking about it, isn't it? I mean, if you have been offended by that, let's keep talking about it. Say so in the comments. Please don't just get the hump and cancel us. Let's keep talking, shall we? Sometimes your bumpers seem so upset about missing. Oh, gumpers, not bumpers, about missing the morning chat. Do they know how to catch up? They don't have to miss anything. Okay, Maxine, can we have a little bit of step-by-step on how to do that? There's a couple of absolutelys here. And a Benny from Singapore as well. Thank you. Turn my back for a moment. And suddenly there's a Benny from Singapore. Good afternoon, Singapore. Benny, great to have you here this morning. Wish I could greet everyone. You will do one day, I'm sure, Francis. I'm really looking forward to that moment. Philomena is a force of nature, and her accent is awesome. Hard to pick which region of the UK. Very interesting. It's probably a little bit from everywhere, isn't it? In much the same way that ours will be as we learn Portuguese. I have to address you. What's this? I just have to address you as you come. so to speak. Says Joao F. Hi, Francis. Carl, I think you're right. It's definitely British and it's a gold standard for a particular kind of bike. Just really well made and useful. That'll be the Brompton. Are we not supposed to post links here? As far as I'm concerned, I trust you to post appropriately, but I don't think the software allows it. It's not me stopping that, Della. People have complained about this before. Okay. The Porky Feet, Andy. What's wrong with Portsmouth? Yeah, Andy. What's wrong with Portsmouth? My accent is a mixture of different accents. Yes, there we go. Since I've always lived in Portugal and I just pick up the accents of the people I speak to. Nothing wrong with Portsmouth. It is one of the homes of the British Navy. So some real people there. I'm not going to say what I was just to think what went through my mind thinking of British sailors there. That could get me cancelled. I am greatly looking forward, and quite rightly so. I am greatly looking forward to the day I can do that copy Portuguese accent. Yeah, indeed. That's an interesting thing, and I wonder if that's true, Philomena. Maybe we'll talk about this more on Friday. Is when foreigners learn Portuguese, do they tend to learn in the image of their teachers? And do they pick up an accent of the teacher? I guess they must do, right? Hola, Joao. Sometimes GMP is on, but I sometimes doze through it. Yes, an understandable reaction. Nearly 4 a.m. Okay, I just sent my documents, now awaiting my D7 appointment at the consulate. I cannot wait to get back to Portugal. Jean, we are here and ready and waiting for you. Just wondering, says Benny, how are people expecting the World Cup coming soon? Would the atmosphere be really crazy between Lisbon and Porto? Which city is a big fan of football? All of them, both of them, Benny. It will be amazing in Portugal. The football will be watched and enjoyed, and the atmosphere will be incredible. Even in a little town and village around Portugal, I tell you, they will put up big screens, or the bars will be full of screens on the wall, and people will be watching. If you don't like football, I think being here during the World Cup will be challenging for you. Benny, if you love football, you will be coming to the right place. Do you ever do requests? It depends, Pete, is my answer to that. And I haven't read to the end of your sentence, so I'm really worried about what you're going to say now. We had a friend who accidentally fell on Buzz Lightyear. Could you play Search for the Hero Inside Yourself for them? Very good. And thanks from Benny there. Okay, I think I've got the video now to share with you of Andy's go-karting. This was another serving suggestion, basically, about some things we Gumpers could do together. We could go-karting, and it could all get a little bit competitive. Did you actually go to this, or did you take part in this, Andy? We'll find out during and after this, I think. And I swam with an amazing sea creature yesterday, folks. I've got a little video of it, of the video of this guy. Of this particular sea creature. And did someone say to me on YouTube, it does poos like spaghetti or something? I didn't know about that. And maybe that would have changed my mind about swimming with it yesterday. But it was in the water. I'm going to show you that video too. But here's a little bit of go-karting for you from Andy. I've not seen this video. I hope it's okay. Andy, that's brilliant. Do you know what I was expecting though, for at least to be some men dressed as nuns or pushing, or dressed as babies, full-size babies on buggies coming down the hill there. That is superb, my friend. Can you tell us a bit more about it? Obviously an annual event at a Portuguese village near you where people come down that hill on their homemade go-karts. I'm not sure. I mean, could we get a team together for that? I wonder. I wonder. Okay, Pete, I'm not doing that request. I long to be in Portugal. Referring back to your comment, Benny, I long to be in Portugal for a World Cup. It's looking like a possibility that I'm saying we as a Portuguese citizen who should be there by then, will be a potential host with Spain for the 2030. Won't that be amazing? Won't that be amazing in 8 years' time, the joint hosting? I mean, just traveling across the Iberian Peninsula, following football. What a lovely vision to hold and have, Francis, and you may well be here by that time. Isn't that fantastic? I'm here, says Della, at 3:40 a.m., and I'm here with you guys. Does this count as skipping work? We'll be sleeping till noon. We can write you a note if you want, if you need something, a note from us. We'll gladly do that. Jean, I don't know about the others. Nasty, what's this? But I shall be waiting for you. Waiting for you here. There you go. A warm welcome from João F for you, Jean. When you join us here in Portugal. Like I said, we'll be waiting for you. It was probably something Michael touched on, but I joined too late. So we were talking more about the controversy of the World Cup. And, I think that there will be a balanced conversation about that, the joy of watching the game if you're a fan, and also, the unavoidable politics that are going to go with this particular World Cup. It's very grim, isn't it? When you look only at that side of it. Yeah, as Pete is saying there. I did some go-karting in my youth. It was funny and amusing. That 4-man bob thing that they had there looked like a lot of fun. And I was wondering how they were going to turn the corner at the bottom. Did they manage it, Andy, at the bottom there? Wishing you cooler days in Cali and cooler in temperature-wise. Cali's cool, isn't it? Temperature, not so much at the moment. I need to order what is this? I need to order a new remote for my Dyson cooling fan. I can't use it until then. I've lost. Oh, dear. Well, you need to order something that helps you find the Dyson remote as well. There must be something on the market. I have a cart. You and me, Carl, nappies and bonnets representing the... Okay. You had me at nappies. All right. Memórias das queridas, dos carinhos, de rolamentos de esferas. Mas isso foi no mínimo há 150 anos na minha infância. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I think I gave it a fairly good read, but can you put it together for me? Oh, great memories. There you go. Of ball bearing. Well, of course, I didn't know what ball bearing kart racing was. That's very specialist. It does sound like the sort of thing there, doesn't it? Do you remember in phrase books? There would be really random things in there, wouldn't there? Like, you go, what the French or the German or the Portuguese for, I say, my good man, could you help me replace the heel on my now broken shoe? And, turns of phrase that nobody would ever use. And here, possibly the same one. I have great memories of ball-bearing kart racing. But we've got the Portuguese for that now, thanks to João F. But that was at least 150 years ago, my child. Pictures, please, João F, if you don't mind. Fazia corridas destas na minha rua que tinha descida era fantastic. It was a fantastic era, I think, when you were able to ride a go-kart up and down your street. Isn't that fantastic? And only 15 years ago for Pete. How about that? There's another car. Look at this, everybody. There's another karting event in the events page in Luso. Oh, my goodness. The hills of Luso. What could possibly go wrong? Can we get the cart ready and the nappies? Oh, can we make it for that one, Andy, or do we not qualify this year? Is it going to have to be next year? In 2010, says Francis, my wife and I traveled 8,300 kilometers around South Africa on a motorbike following the World Cup. Here we managed 7 games through all the rounds. Oh, I love the way you live your life, Francis. I really do. There was a great sense of it. Of how you live your life and the fun you have with that water saving video you sent us was the most. I'm sure it was. Your wife seems like such a sport as well. So thank you for sharing that with us. I could just imagine the pair of you having a fantastic time doing that. Maybe you'll recreate that in older age around Portugal, for the 2060 World Cup or something like that. 116 in Sacramento today. Thank you, Justin Owen. That is hot over there in California at the moment, isn't it? If I had a jingle, I would play it for you, but I have to just do it myself. For the hot weather of California. Okay, here's something that might make you feel a bit cooler. This is the sea creature that I saw from the quay, San Martino de Porto, a couple of weeks ago. Let me play this for you. Have you ever seen one of these? Which I thought was either a pair of underpants that someone had left in the water with a life of their own, I hasten to add, a sea bat. I think it's called a sea hare. Oh.
Isto deve ser.
É o peculiar. Mãe, aquele peixe que está dentro do teu é um peixe peculiar. Usos.
Este deve ser o peixe morrecido. Vai por cima já.
Mesmo. Tem um peixinho que vai à boca dele, olha. Ei, pá, que foi meu garfo.
Now, I was told it wasn't poisonous, right? And it's all very well, isn't it, knowing that that's not poisonous when you're filming it from the quayside. We went for a swim in the bay yesterday, which we love doing later on in the day, when the sun's just not setting, but it's still, you know, I don't know, you know that thing that you can do if you put your hand up in front of the sun. Apparently, each finger above the horizon is 15 minutes until the sun sets. So we're probably an hour before sunset when we go for a swim. The beach is warm, the sand is warm, the walls along the seafront are warm, and the water's pretty warm too as the day begins to cool down. And it's it's fine for us really pale-skinned people to not get burnt from just 30 seconds of exposure to the sun. So we went in the water, and it was the most rough conditions I've experienced in San Martino de Porto Bay yesterday. And, you know, I was feeling a body slam from some of the waves coming in. It's never that bad, I don't think, in San Martino de Porto. And then after about 15 minutes of me and the kids, you know, bouncing against the incoming waves, having a whale of a time. Lots of seaweed around the ankles, though. Oh, the churn was creating a lot of weird stuff around the ankles, and treading on it and feeling it wrapped around your ankles as the tide was coming in and out. And then one of those sea hares in the water, just feet away from us. And we all started to scream like children, including me. And I was thinking, you know, consciously, rationally, I'm thinking, it's not a danger to me. But like James was saying on Monday morning, these sort of primal shapes and experiences and fears are there, aren't they, in the DNA? And I'm thinking, this thing might hurt me. I'm going to give it a safe distance. And then, of course, as each wave came in, it was washed closer to us. And at that point, we got out of the water and let the sea hare do its thing. But I think that the churn, the tides are bringing the sea hares in, and you get to see them here in San Martino de Porto. Oh, you're still here, Philomena, by the way. Same with my street. So look at this. These Portuguese men reliving their childhoods and the fantastic fun they had on go-karts. And so your street, Joao F., this is why you love motorcars so much to this very day, right? At the end of it, there was a curve, more like a 90-degree turn that was literally a smash. What did you call it? What was the name of the end of the street there? Like, you know, on the F1 circuits, they have the names, don't they, of you know, like difficult turns and so on. What was yours called? Starting to get into work mode. Well, I'm so sorry to hear that, Andrew. I really am sorry to hear that. New words I learned today: escalonar and rolamento de esferas. That's a turn, isn't it? Is that a ball bearing? A rolamento, the iron roller, I suppose. Very good. Same with mine. Antonio and Joe, bless you both. The same with mine. A right turn. It was funnier when we joined 8 or 10 kids. Yes, of course, on 4 of those carts linked together, and we would all fall in the turn. Happy times, skin knees, never did us any harm. And of course, you would have had knee pads on and elbow pads and helmets. Not. And I'm not making a virtue of danger. But that is how it was, right? I don't suppose any of you had crash helmets on for that. And your mothers just prayed for your safe return at the end of the day as night was falling, right? Senhor namorada do filho está aqui para nos ajuda com português. That's a date you've got to go to. Thanks, Sarah. I'll talk to you tomorrow on the show. Then I'll send you the link for that, and we'll talk about an interactive map. Loves me a few waves. I find flat as a mill pond a bit boring. Yeah, but you don't want to be Salgado waves. You want to be San Martino de Porto waves, in my view. I do fear the Atlantic in a very healthy way, I think, as well as those sea hare creatures. See, miracles can happen. What? That you get back to work. San Francisco has a go-kart big wheel event. What? Big wheel? Not that kind of big wheel, not a Ferris wheel. Okay, big wheel event down a steep hill, but it's only for adults. Quite right. 2, I think. And congratulations on matriculating your rover. Now, that's a euphemism, if ever I heard one. Never doubt, says not Garvo, although Garvo is a Brummie, Andrew, Lord Gilchrist, never doubt the Brummies to make something of great quality and reliability. Yes, a go-kart. Carl, kids with helmets or knee pads in the 70s or 80s? No, exactly. And not going to be happening, is it? Okay. I've got, what have I got for you? I've got that poster of the event of hearing the male deer roaring across the valley. That's going to be special. And Baldios, is that a hairdressers in central Portugal that's sponsoring that event? A few sponsors there, including Baldios de Villanova, Serra Abrama. So you'll be able to hear the deer screaming into the moonlight on the 1st of October, folks. That's a great event. I wonder if that's in our events page, Philomena, if you've been able to do that. €12 and kids up to 12, €9. A midnight, well, probably not a midnight walk, but a late night walk is going to have to be dark, of course. Yes, midnight. Reforço alimentar, going to be eating at midnight by the sound of it then. Confraternização a regresso a AGVFM. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe everyone will be eating back at the radio station. Is that right? You might even be able to scan the QR code on that and get a bit more information. That is superb. What a lovely idea. Another one coming in then. Let me just download this one as well. Another go-karting. Yes, Cariños Rolamentos. This is a thing for Portugal here. I've got another one to show you. Let me just upload it. I've got a lovely flower to share with you as well. But look at this, the Skida Luca, the crazy skid, the crazy ride, possibly here, 17th of September in Luso. That's a fine poster. Meliada Municipio there, and the Luso's own borough putting on a great event. That is going to be great. You get yourself some water while you're there from the font at Luso. Go see the, oh my goodness, what's it called? What's the palace there? Oh, Andy, let me know. There's a Korea Palace Hotel, and there's the other palace up there, palace style hotel, isn't there, which is a great place. You could stay there and you could go to Luso and see this event. That is fantastic. Thank you very much for that. I have a flower for you as well. Greetings from the Silver Coast then. From me personally, a photo I took yesterday. Look at that. My granddaughter in UK is going back to school, and when I got sent the picture of her in her school uniform, I could also smell autumn in the UK. And that's falling leaves and a kind of leaf mulch, and just getting a little bit damp and cooler. This is what kids going back to school will see in Portugal along the street. Beautiful blooms like this with a little bit of morning dew on the petals there. Fantastic. And I thought you might. Oh, I forgot to share this with you. A couple of more things then before we go today. Thank you for this, James. The benefits of public transport here. Might this come to Portugal from Germany? The €9 ticket outcomes for the unlimited public transport in Germany on €9. 52 million tickets sold. That's not too shabby, is it? 1.8 million tons of CO2 emissions saved. Fifth of buyers did not ordinarily use public transport. Now, that's a win, isn't it? 10% of ticket holders made at least one fewer daily car journeys. Marvellous. 50, that saved them a few bob, didn't it? That's a British phrase, saving a few bob. And I'm reminded, who was it? Yes, Milan was asking about Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. I need to talk about that, not today. 50% used it every day for everyday trips, 40% to visit people, 37% for commuting. That's lovely, getting people connected as well. And 43% bought a ticket to avoid using a car. Thank you, James the Slug, for that. Also, forgot to mention the other day, Hank's Beard Balm. Bramblebee Leona we talked to her, didn't we, last week, about these wonderful potions and lotions and balms that she's making. There's me modeling it for her. I don't think she wants to use it for some reason, but I'm thinking Gumper Gunk, maybe a nice massage oil. Who doesn't like a nice massage oil first thing in the morning? Some Gumper Gunk. Can we request a particular product? But that is beautiful. I'm loving working that into my face furniture. So thank you very much for that, Leona. Brilliant product. Delighted to have bagged a few bits from you over the last weekend, and it's being used gladly and aromatically in our house at the moment. So thank you for being there and creating that for us. And you can find Leona, I suspect, on the forum as well. If you want to help a local business making beautiful things, do that and seek out the Doc and Leona on the forum. There was this as well. Not a dad joke exactly. Some existential humor, a meme. We do like to share a meme. Thank you to womenafter50.com for this. Is this really what they think, the women after 50? What's the difference between ignorance and apathy? And on this note, I will leave you, folks. What is the difference between ignorance and apathy? I don't know, and I don't care. Take care, bye for now, and I'll see you tomorrow for a little bit of a move to Portugal Thursday with Carl Hyde, and of course, get those questions in about the Portuguese language and culture with Filomena on Friday. Ciao, ciao, adios, até a próxima. And another one. Até logo, até logo.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.